You are Locked On Tigers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome into a live Locked On Tigers postcast. Tigers fall to the Yankees. Shutout, in fact, at Comerica Park. 3-0 the final. Gerrit Cole, 6 innings of scoreless baseball for the Yankees. But hey, we had 2 big MLB debuts to talk about. That's what's on tap for you. And as always, we thank you for making a Locked On Tigers postcast your destination following the final out of the game. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers postcast your first listen every single day. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, on YouTube and Locked On Sports Detroit. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And hey, how about a huge shout out to today's presenting sponsor, making the show possible. That's right. Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All you have to do is go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use that code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB, for a first deposit match up to $100. That's right. prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB, up to $100. And as always, we thank you for tuning into the live YouTube show on Locked On Sports Detroit. And if you haven't yet, this is your friendly reminder to subscribe. I think we lost our Tiger banner in the background there. That's okay. We survive in advance here on a live edition of the Locked On Tigers postcast. We do it live. We do it live. Yankees win this one 3-0. 4-game win streak comes to an end for the Tigers. And one of those nights you ran into a really hot pitcher in Gerrit Cole and not much doing offensively. However, how about a huge shout out to Trey Sweeney and Jung, the much anticipated debut of both of those guys, and 2 walks for Jung. He got caught stealing. And for Sweeney, he did register that first MLB hit, which was about the only highlight from this evening. And you know what? Sometimes you're riding the high. You've won 4 games in a row. You had the 2 dramatic victories against Seattle, plus the 15-1 victory over Seattle. And in the course of a 162-game season, you might have a letdown here and there. And tonight kind of felt like a little bit of that. But appreciate everybody tuning in on the YouTube. And you know what? We'll get to the comments in just a moment, whatever you got going on your Friday night. I should have mentioned, my name is Jake Rietma. If you're tuning in for the first time, if you're part of our crew, we appreciate you always tuning in. At Jake_Rietma is where you can follow me on Twitter. I was on Locked On Lions earlier today with Matt Derry. We've got a Locked On Lions postcast tomorrow. That will be a lot of fun after Lions and Chiefs. And of course, we'll be on after Tigers, Yankees tomorrow too. So double header. There we go. How about that? A double header to look forward to tomorrow. And make sure you have your notifications set up for Locked On Sports Detroit so you don't miss a thing. And you're always able to join us. And I do want to get into the Scott Harris interview in the booth. Now, it's not the same as a press conference. You've got a game going on, and Jason Benetti. I love Jason Benetti. I talk all the time about how much I love the telecast with Jason Benetti running it, but he's not going to offer any fastball questions. It's all going to be softballs when it's Scott Harris in the booth joining him for the couple of innings like he did today. So we'll get into that as well. And I already see the comments there. Jason Walter, Scott, the king of saying nothing. Yeah, I mean, that's what it was. I will say I loved Alex Avila on the call. I mean, he was one of my favorites from his time as the catcher for the Tigers. And I was a catcher myself in high school and wanted to be like Alex Avila. And, you know, his insight does a great job for MLB Network, and for him to bring that insight and the poise, it gets a little bit slow sometimes, or a little bit dry, if you will. Use a little bit more expression from Avila, but overall, just love what he brings to the broadcast, and thought he did really well tonight, and enjoyed that pairing with him and with him and Jason Benetti, and some of the insight on being a catcher and framing balls. I thought that was really, really enjoyable insight on the broadcast, and definitely added a lot of value there. But Tigers fall to the Yankees. Final score of 3-0. They were limited to 5 hits. Yankees only had 5 hits as well, but 2 of them left the building, and they were able to get it going early with the sac fly in the first, along with that Aaron Judge home run in the 8th. And I'll admit, there's something about seeing a guy like Aaron Judge hit that home run. I mean, they flash it on the screen, but the dude almost has a home run every 11 at bats. It's insane. Only Mark McGwire has a better home run to at bat ratio in all of the history of Major League Baseball, which is just crazy. So when Aaron Judge is able to get full extension and make and run into one, barrel one up like he did, there's not a ballpark that's going to hold that. But if you're just joining us, Tigers fall to the Yankees 4-0 with the loss. Now Tigers back to, I believe, 4 games under 500, 5 games under 500, 59-64. Yankees, obviously, and Benetti talked about this on the broadcast too. The Yankees, I mean, fighting for an AL East title with Baltimore. That's going to be a fun race down the stretch if you're a fan of just Major League Baseball in general. But let's get to those comments. We got people joining on the YouTube and lots to discuss with Jace Jung and Trey Sweeney on the Major League debut for both of them. And here we go. We kick it off with Jason Walter, who I mentioned, the Scott Harris, the Scott, the king of Say Nothing. We've got Gareth Rydens weighing in. Judge and Sweeney both did well. A good sign. Yeah, I agree. And when Jace Jung got thrown out at second attempting to steal, they kind of joked like, hey, you know, he's probably not up at the big league with the big league team for his ability to steal. And it just so happened to correspond with the Scott Harris interview that was going on as the youngster Jace Jung gets thrown out at second. Demetrius McNeil, Jake, what sealed the Tigers' fate is no balls, 2 strikes, 0 for 7 with men in scoring position. More bad news, Carlos Rodon. Did I mention that I'm going to the game tomorrow? How about that? All right, there you go, Demetrius. Enjoy that game. Hopefully you can bring them some better luck. I did have this in my notes, and I don't know if people like this type of conversation. It's funny, in my opinion. It's lighthearted, but we just got to retire the Motor City Connect jerseys. I mean, they ran their course, they served their purpose. We don't have to wear them every single Friday. I don't know who greenlights that. Maybe the players like them, but they look like adult softball uniforms out there, and the Tigers lose every time they wear those Motor City Connect jerseys. I swear to you. If they want to go play softball and in a beer league and hang out on Saturdays with their buddies, wear the Motor City Connect jerseys then. But give me the white jerseys with the Old English D. The hat I'm wearing right now is just such a sharp look and one of the best uniforms in all of baseball, and they ruin it with these adult softball beer league jerseys with the Motor City Connect jerseys. I swear they lose every single Friday that they wear those Motor City Connect jerseys, but I had to fit that in at some point. All right, a couple more comments to get to here as well. Born cool, can't win them all. Am I right? Excuse me. Yep, that's I think you're exactly right. There is no doubt about it. Excuse me. Yeah. Had to have some water. Yeah, we're good now. Okay. Yeah. Bubba Watson saying Sweeney going to be a bad man. Let's hope. He was drafted by the Yankees, traded to the Dodgers, which is where obviously he came over in that Jack Flaherty trade. And between Tyrone Lorenzo and Trey Sweeney, I mean, it's very, very early, but Lorenzo's on a tear in high A baseball with West Michigan, and Sweeney's already made his way up to the big league club. So time will tell, obviously, but you're feeling all right about the return that you've gotten from the Jack Flaherty trade. And who knows? I mean, obviously Flaherty's a rental for the Dodgers right now, and we don't know what his future has. I was talking with my grandfather yesterday about who that big name pitcher could be in the offseason that the Tigers maybe potentially go after. That would be a lot of fun. All right. Yeah, we got to check in with Matt Wood, who was at the game. Shout out to you, Matt Wood. Took my son to his first game. Not the most exciting game, but we still had fun. All right, there you go. Good. You still had fun. Hopefully you hit up the Ferris wheel and the Tigers that go the carousel. And then As a kid, I was kind of a chunky kid. I will not lie. My favorite part was a hot dog, maybe a soft pretzel, pizza. The ballpark food was always my favorite part of the game. But you know what? The kids aren't gonna remember the box scores, the wins and losses. It's all about the memories. And so that's awesome that you're able to take your son to his first game. We'd absolutely love that. R1J4, wouldn't be surprised if Yanks and rest of these teams counter AJ's bullpen sessions with small ball and treat those beginning innings as an 8th, 9th extra inning games. Yeah, it's an interesting take, just because you had Beau Brieske start this game as the opener, and I honestly don't even want to exhort. You're not wrong. It's a very good point, but exhorting a lot of conversation to the bullpen opener that the Tigers have been forced to use from time and time again because of just their inability to construct a roster and have pitching that is able to follow up with when injuries happen. It's a tough spot to be in, and it's not a recipe for winning. And I do agree. I think teams are going to start to, it's not like it's a secret. The Tigers don't have any starting pitching, so they're having to roll out relief pitchers to start games. And so, yeah, teams will change their approach, and it's way different when you've got a starting pitcher that's trying to go 7 innings and versus a reliever that's in there and all gas, no breaks type of thing early on. But yeah, Verdugo had the sack fly in that first inning. Peraza the homer in the 5th, and then Aaron Judge the homer in the 8th with the 3 scoring plays for the Yankees. But we got lots more to get into. I do want to take a deeper dive into the debut of Trey Sweeney and Jace Jung. We'll do that next on our second segment of a live Locked On Tigers postcast. Don't go anywhere. Hey, we're just getting started on Locked On Tigers postcast here on Locked On Sports Detroit. This episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by Liquid IV. And hey, you know what? It's summertime right now. And when you're taking in America's pastime, you can't forget to stay hydrated with Liquid IV. And I got a pro tip for you. The popsicle firecracker flavor is a surefire summer hit. That's right. Blast off with the iconic summer flavor of popsicle firecracker. It's a festive blend of citrus-fueled lemon lime tart, cherry, and raspberry flavors. Delicious. And you know what? Sometimes you need a little extra edge in the hydration department. Maybe you had one too many pops the night before, maybe in your workouts, whatever it may be. It's real simple. You want to improve your hydration. So all you have to do is tear open that Liquid IV, pour it into 16 ounces of water, live more. One stick, that's all it takes, and it hydrates you way better than water alone. You can find all your favorite flavors at liquidiv.com. I love the pina colada. That's also another pro tip. I'm just helping you out left and right. And when you're taking in America's pastime, you gotta stay hydrated. That's what Liquid IV is all about. The popsicle fire flavor, surefire summer hit. So find it all at liquidiv.com. Tear, pour, live more. One stick, 16 ounces of water hydrates you better than water alone. And it's all powered by the Live Hydra science and optimized ratio of electrolytes and essential vitamins and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. So no more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. All right, Jace Jung and Trey Sweeney. Listen, when the announcements were made, I was fired up. I really was, because I think, and we talked about it yesterday, this team hasn't quit. They've continued to play their best, and they've dealt with the injuries. They've had some late inning heroics as of late, put together a little 4-game winning streak. But this isn't a playoff team. And the percentage, according to Fangraphs, whatever it is, 0.7 entering play today, they're just not going to make the playoffs. So I'm all for seeing what you have in some of these AAA prospects, get Jace Jung up there, some MLB at-bats. Remember how slow Colt Keith started this year, starting with the big league club, and then all of a sudden a month or two under his belt, and he's looking like the star-studded rookie that we had hoped he would be. So maybe you knock off that rust, not even rust, but the adjustment period of getting to see big league pitching here in the latter portion of the season in the months of August and September. And that way, you go through a spring training, and Jace Jung maybe he's up with the team next year to begin the season. And same with Trey Sweeney. I think a lot of people like what we're seeing from both those guys, and why not have a chance to be part of this young core that we always talk about at length, the young core. And obviously Scott Harris loves him some young core. So Jace Jung, we'll start with him. I mentioned the 2 walks and did not register his first hit yet, played a little bit of third base, but the 2 walks you like to see, 2 strikeouts, the second one especially. And that's even when I believe that's when Michael Berdar got ejected there at the end of the game, because it seemed like it was outside when on that called third strike. So maybe somebody in the comments can help me out, make sure that was what Berdar was ejected for at the end of the game there, when Jace Jung struck out for the second time. And I think that was some tough luck all the way around. But hey, it's one game. I mean, the guy could have gone 4 for 4 with 4 home runs, and you still have to remember it's one game, it's major league debut. There's going to be some, the nerves, the adrenaline. Those are some of the things that Jason Benetti and Alex Avila were talking about in reference to both these guys' debuts. Now, as for Trey Sweeney, he gets the infield hit. I thought Gleyber Torres was going to throw him out from that diving stop that he made. But gets his first hit out of the way. He'll keep that baseball for sure. Made some nice plays at shortstop. He was 1 for 3, and he struck out once as well. But I want to see these guys get reps, more and more at bats, more and more games. And I was a little bit surprised that McKinstry was not sent down. Obviously, you guys know how I feel. We all know how I feel about Gio Urshela and Javi Baez. So let's see Sweeney at shortstop and Jace Jung at third base. I think there's no other way to put it as far as what we would like to see from the Tigers here moving forward. All right. That being said, I want to get back to the comments because we've got a couple of people responding. Rufus, the Motor City Kitty fan, has made his way into the comments. Is steroids still a thing in baseball, or is it pretty unchanged, under control? Very under control. That's kind of random, out of nowhere. Try to but I know it's obviously a point of discussion, but yeah, I'd say it's pretty well taken care of there. Injuries, the excuse for bullpen sessions. Nothing different since AJ started. He just flourishes P's rather than compete for posts. The GMs and Illich is along with it. A major league farm team to better teams. Yeah, it is that's how I feel. And that was the spirited debate I was getting into and discussing when talking with my grandfather about the current state of the Tigers. It's Scott Harris's MO. It's for whatever reason, Chris Illich's MO. And it's hard being a fan of a small market, very, very low budget Major League Baseball team when you have one of the richest owners in baseball and one of the lowest payrolls in a sport that doesn't have a salary cap. So it's one of those make it make sense things. You really can't, because there's no explanation for not giving it a go with a financial investment when you have the means to do so. And the ones that are left hanging out to dry, if you will, are the fans. And that's the major bummer of it all, because fans deserve a team the way it was run when Mr. Illich and Dombrowski were in charge. And I know there was a lot of swings and they connected on a lot of deals. There were some swing and misses, but you know what? There was a time in which this Tiger team would do anything to win. There was an era, and it was led by Dave Dombrowski as the general manager and Mr. Mike Illich as the owner. And it's a shame that the approach has just turned so drastically different into low budget, low market farm systems at the major league level. But hey, as always, we thank you for making Locked On Tigers Postcast your first listen, but for your second listen, you got to check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Host Paul Sullivan, aka Sully, here to provide daily national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get ready for the MLB playoffs here in the dog days of summer. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day on Locked On MLB, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Hey, don't go anywhere. We're gonna wrap it up, tie a bow on this one, and get ready for tomorrow. See if the Tigers can bounce back. It's all coming up next on the Locked On Tigers Postcast. Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks. That's right, America's most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports is at Prize Picks. You got to download Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Now, there's tons of things to love about Prize Picks. I could talk for hours and hours, but I'll start with the simplicity. It only takes 60 seconds. You pick more or less on 2 to 6 players stat projections, and you watch the winnings roll in. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. You're not playing against a bunch of sharks or anything like that. No, it's just you against the numbers, and you can connect with America's #1 daily fantasy sports. 5 million active members. Become a part of the Prize Picks community. You got to get in on the action right now. You can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Turn $10 into $1,000. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has got you covered every single week, from lowering select player stat projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. That's today. If your lineup lost, don't worry. You get that entry fee back because Prize Picks loves you and they care about you. That's right. Prize Picks available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. You pick more, you pick less. It's that easy. All right, we tie a bow on this one after the Tigers fall to the New York Yankees. 3-0 the final. Tigers now 59-64, 5 games under 500, 29-32 at home. And again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, if you will, and be a broken record, but some nights you just got nothing at the plate, and we've seen that time and time again with this Tigers team. And so it's not exactly a shock that this game played out the way that it did. There was no late inning magic, and you know what? In 162 games, you got a team like the Tigers, these nights are going to happen. All right, let's get into some more of the comments. Jason Walter, Zach McKinstry must have something on Scott at this point to stay. Yeah, a lot of people are speculating that, which is kind of hilarious, because I don't see a reason for Zach McKinstry to be up at the big league level. I say that as he's a member of a team that has plenty of holes that, you could make the case that what does he have that maybe another player doesn't, and vice versa. And I just, when you start to think it's McKinstry over who, we want Ryan Kreidler back up. I don't think so. But yeah, there is something. I do think Zach McKinstry, that is, for whatever reason, AJ Hinch, and maybe it is Scott Harris too, they like what he brings to the table because he's found a way to survive being at the big league level all season long, despite not really putting up the best numbers. And I know we don't care about batting average, but he's hitting a $188, 247 OBP, 308 slug. So, barely over that 500 slug or 500 OPS number. That is a very, very low bar. But that being said, I'm more intrigued with what we can see from Jace Jung and Trey Sweeney in the month of August and September, leading to the conclusion of the season. But that said, we look ahead to tomorrow, and we always know if it's not Skubal or Montero, then hey, we got a bullpen day, and that's the case again tomorrow. So bullpen day tomorrow. I did want to mention the Riley Green promotion tomorrow looks awesome. I am so jealous. Oh no, it is Montero tomorrow. My apologies. Cater Montero goes tomorrow. That's right, because Scoobs will go Sunday in the Little League World Series game. My apologies. But yeah, tomorrow, if you're going to Comerica Park, I'm jealous because it's a Riley Green Little League bobblehead giveaway, and I'm an avid bobblehead collector. I've probably got about 100 of them. And the other studio, you got the bobbleheads behind me, but I would love to hear if anyone gets the Riley Green Little League bobblehead tomorrow, because I saw a picture of it. It looks awesome. You got Riley Green in the Tigers uniform and then Riley Green in his Little League uniform as well. I love those kind of promotions. And plus it's a Saturday, so hopefully they won't wear those Motor City Connect jerseys like they do on Fridays. It'll just be the old English D with the white uniform and the navy blue hat. All right, Gabriel gets the last word today. Tomorrow we're going to win. It would have been insane if we came into a ball game against one of the better pitchers in the league with a new batting lineup, 2 new people. I'm not disappointed at all. Yeah, that's probably a good way to put it. I mean, Gerrit Cole, who hasn't been great this year. I mean, obviously he's not too far removed from winning the Cy Young. We know what he can do. So I think that's a good perspective from Gabriel, and same with me. I'm not gonna yell and scream. It's not one of those nights which you guys have to put up with far too often. But hey, appreciate everybody tuning in as always. I was kind of sharp. Let me take that back. Hey, appreciate everybody tuning in as always. It's always a pleasure to be on the air. Don't forget to check out Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley, Locked On Lions with Matt Derry. I was on with him today, getting ready for Chiefs and Lions tomorrow. So we'll have Locked On Lions postcast and Locked On Tigers postcast. It'll be a nice double header on the Locked On Sports Detroit network. So make sure you have subscribed. If you haven't yet, do us a favor as well. Like the video, share the video, all the stuff that the YouTube gods make you do. We would appreciate that as well. And tell a friend about Locked On Sports Detroit while you're at it. So final score from Comerica Park, 3-0. Yankees get the win. Tigers will try to bounce back tomorrow with Cater Montero on the bump for the Detroit Tigers. And for the Yankees, Carlos Rodon, and Sunday will be good. Tarek Skubal and Marcus Stroman. So that will be good on Sunday. As always, pleasure to be on the air with you. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks for the show. No, thank you guys. That's what makes Locked On Sports Detroit fun, is each and every listener and viewer out there that makes it a point to be on the live postcast on the YouTube, or if you listen on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, we appreciate that as well, because we want to bring you all post-game action on the postcast, be your post-game destination for all Detroit sports. That's what we are shooting for here on the Locked On Sports Detroit network. So have a wonderful evening, everybody. We always appreciate your support, and we'll see you tomorrow after Tigers and Yankees, game 2 of the 3-game series. Another afternoon game tomorrow, 1:10 first pitch, and get there early for that Riley Green bobblehead if you are going, that Little League one. And bonus points if anybody wants to snag one for your good friend, host of the Locked On Tigers postcast, Jake Rietma, because I love the bobbleheads, and I'm not going to obviously be able to be there because we got a show to do. All right, have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to you next time. As always, a pleasure to be on the air. And thanks for making Locked On Tigers postcast part of your night. Talk to you tomorrow on Locked On Sports Detroit.